I'm at the happiest point of my life right now. And I couldn't imagine it being any better. But 9 years ago is when my lowest point began. So, before I begin, I just want to tell everyone that I'm not backbiting about anybody in this video. I'm just sharing my experience to relate to everyone, and for everyone who's watching this to know that if they're going through similar situations, it's not normal and it's not okay, and you don't have to live with it. So I'll start off with when I was in secondary school. My mom had some trust issues, which were understandable because I was going through my teenage years and I was a very different person. I was not into Islam at all. I had never used to wear a hijab. I was respectful, I was still kind and generous and everything, but I didn't concentrate on my education. And because of me being from a broken family, I was always so intrigued about how it feels to be loved by a man, because I never had that. I had my dad who got divorced with my mom when I was about 3 years old, and as I was growing up I had my stepdad, but you can't have the same connection. It's very difficult to have the same connection with your stepdad. And then I used to see all these posts on the internet like, oh, you know, a girl is always the father's princess and their most precious possession and all that sort of stuff. So I always used to wonder, like, oh, like, how does it feel to be loved by a man? So I started getting into wanting to be married so badly, wanting to be in a relationship just so I can feel that presence. Which obviously my mom didn't like it, because I was only, I think, 13, and yeah, she didn't like it because she's a very strict parent. So for her to find out that her daughter's in a relationship, she didn't take it really well. So she took me back home to Pakistan, and I got engaged when I was 15, and I got married when I was 16, just turned 16, and I got married. It wasn't forced. It was just me solely doing it just to get everyone to just be quiet and leave me alone already. And the intention I had was, if it works out, alhamdulillah. If it doesn't work out, I'll go my way, he can go his way, because we were gonna be adults then. So I got really close with his family. I still respect and love them very much. I appreciate them for everything they've done for me. And they were like my own family. So I was in Pakistan for about 6 months, and my mom was sick, so she was by herself here in England. So she called me over to come back. I came back, I met up with all my old friends, and, you know, I started getting my old soul back, and I was really happy to meet up with them, and I was like back to my normal self. And he came here, my ex-husband, on a student visa, and things just started to go downhill because I realized how different we were. I realized how he didn't want me to have friends. He didn't like any of my friends. He didn't want me to go and see them. He didn't want me to socialize. And I started realizing how closed in he wants to live, and that wasn't me. So that part was a bit difficult for me, because when I wanted to get married, I wanted everything to be to have mutual friends and to go out together and, you know, like a happy married couple. So I started figuring out how different we were, and the culture came in between, and you know, he started telling me, oh, don't wear this, don't wear that, don't go here, don't go there, don't see this person, don't see that person. It came to the point where he even started having a problem with me going to see my mum and my family. I'm not going to give too much details of all of that, what happened, but he was very overprotective, very controlling, to the point where I wasn't allowed to keep my bank card. He had to keep my bank card, and anytime I wanted to spend money, I had to ask him. And if I spent unnecessary money, like if I bought clothes for myself or something, he would get upset about it. So that was very difficult for me to deal with, because I wanted to be an independent person. Seeing how my mom was as I was growing up, she was very independent. She had her own money, she worked, she got what she wanted to get and all that kind of stuff. That's how I wanted to be. But this person was very different. So it was difficult for me to adjust to him. I compromised so much, I tried so hard. And there was a point where I was seeing my old friends and he didn't like it. So he took my phone off me. I didn't have a phone, I didn't have internet. I used to be locked inside a house by myself with no money, no way to contact anyone. I couldn't even open the windows. And at that time, I thought that was normal. I thought that was me. I thought that was me trying my best, because I didn't want to give up. I wanted it to work. Sorry. I wanted it to work really bad, because I did have feelings for this person. I married him and I did have feelings for him. So I wanted it to work, and I kept trying. And me being my stupid self, I thought maybe if we have a child, things will get better, he will change. So I got pregnant, and this is when I used to be locked up inside the house when I was pregnant, which is very dangerous if you think about it. If anything happened, I didn't have no means to contact anyone. I didn't have no means to even leave the house if anything happened, so it was quite dangerous. I think this was in my 4th month, and we moved out of that place. We went back to where we used to live, which was with the family. We used to live inside a room on rent, and the family used to live in the bottom portion. We used to live inside an attic room. So that family looked after me really well during my pregnancy and everything. And whilst I was in their houses, when I had my son, I had him when I was 18. Sorry. I had him when I was 18. And after I had him, my mum moved to Manchester. So we moved with her because she wanted us to be near. She wanted the whole family to be close and everything. So we moved to Manchester. He got a job here. We had our own place. It was a 1-bedroom flat, very tiny, very old. I'm not complaining, at least I had a roof on my head, and that was more than enough for me. It was better than, it was upgrading from the rented room in an attic, so it was my own 1-bedroom flat. At this point, we were still trying, well, I was still trying. And I started working. It was work experience. I was doing a childcare course. So it was work experience, and I socialized after a very long time. I made friends. I got told that I was beautiful. I got told that I need to be appreciated. Loads of things. And it was just like a wake-up call for me, to be honest, because he never used to praise me. He never used to tell me that I'm beautiful. He never used to you know, I used to literally grab his hand and put his hand on my face to like feel loved. Or if there was a day when he kissed me on my cheek, it used to be an amazing day because he never used to do that, and I used to get so happy. He never used to say that he loves me. He never used to express his feelings. I used to cook for him. I used to clean. I used to wash his clothes. I used to look after myself. I used to look after our son. I used to make sure that I looked good every day before he came back from work. I used to like change up my makeup or change my hair up or wear new clothes. And I used to try so hard to get his attention and love. So hard. And all he would do when he came home was just watch TV and look at other women. And it was very hurtful for me because it was like, why can he not look at me the same way he looks at other women? Because he used to look at them like so intrigued and so like, there were times when he would tell me, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. And I used to think, why can I not get that kind of attention? Why can I not get that kind of love? Am I not good enough? And day by day, I kept putting myself more and more down. So it was inside this house when I got my first smartphone. It was a Samsung Galaxy, I think. And I was so happy. And you know, the internet in my hands and a phone in my hands. And I was so happy and you know. So that's when I started going on social media. I started getting back in touch with my old friends and, you know, explaining to them how my life is and them telling me that's not right, that's not normal, because he made me believe that it was so normal. He made me believe that there are so many women out there living the same life as I'm living. So, and even worse, like he was like, oh, you know, there's women out there who don't even have a house, or they don't even have a husband, or they don't even have clothes and they still appreciate their man and all this kind of thing. So it made me feel like I needed to do whatever he says in order to be a good person or to be a good Muslim. And he made me feel like that's what Allah wanted me to do, is to do whatever he says whenever he wants. Just to mention that our intimate relationship wasn't amazing. Like it was just for his needs and desires. That's all it was. As soon as his needs and desires were fulfilled, the connection was just closed, gone. There was no connection after that. There was no expression of feelings or anything like that. And as a woman, you need that. You need to feel more than an object, and you deserve to. So after that, my son was 6 months when I flew out to Pakistan with him to my ex-husband's family. It was just me and my son, and I stayed there for about a month, I think, and I realized how happy I am without him. I realized how free I was. I realized how much more there is to the world than just feeling like crap every day and just wanting to get someone's attention every day. I got closer to Islam when I was in Pakistan. I was very close to his family and they helped me a lot. And I never even used to speak to him when I was there. We never used to call or text, just maybe once in like a week or something. And when I went back, it just was not the same. I didn't feel the same, because at this point I knew that I'm missing out on so much happiness, and I'm missing out on so much that I deserve. So I thought to myself, right, when my son gets a bit older, to when he can understand me and my feelings more, that's when I'll leave him, because I didn't want my son to think any bad of me. So I thought I'll let him get a bit older, and that's when I leave, because I don't want him to go through something at such a young age. And everyone I told that to told me that's wrong. If you want to leave, you need to leave now, because once he gets more attached to his father, he won't be able to live without him, and you will tear him even more because he won't be able to live without you either. So that's something that got me thinking as well. So I remember one massive fight that we had was because I found something on his search history which hurt me a lot. Because we didn't have a good relationship, it hurt me to see why you would be okay to do that kind of stuff. It hurt me because I used to put in so much effort to look good for him, to get him attracted to me and all this kind of stuff. But he had to go to the internet. A lot of women think that's okay. They think it's normal for their husbands to go and look at other women on the internet and all that kind of stuff. But that was a complete no for me. I remember leaving the house to pick up my brother and sister from the mosque. And I had the pram. And I was on the road walking and I just started crying. Like, I couldn't help but just break down. And they said, "What's wrong?" And I couldn't tell them what was wrong. So I went to my mum's house and I told her what was wrong. My mum would always tell me to put my foot down, to become stronger. She would always want to intervene, but I never let her intervene. I said, you know what, no. Just let me keep trying my best. And if Allah wants it to work out, it will work out. If it's not meant to be, we'll see what happens. So my mum and dad left to Pakistan for a few months. Through social media, I met someone. I'm not proud to say this. I don't think I did the right thing at all. But I started talking to someone and I started explaining my situation to them. We started talking more and more day by day. And it was just a connection. At this time in my life, I used to pray a lot. I used to read the Quran a lot. I used to make a lot of dua, but I never prayed for my marriage to break. I always prayed for happiness. So this person I started talking to was from the United States. Very, like, massive distance. So it was like nothing like we would have a physical connection or anything like that. It was just us talking. And I introduced him to Islam and he started studying about it and he wanted to convert. So I helped him with all of that. And then we used to talk a lot about Islam and we used to study and ask questions and, you know, find things out and talk about the wrongs and the rights, etc., etc. And we just got closer and closer and closer. And at this point, I was like, this is not right. I'm not doing the right thing. If I'm talking to someone behind the person that I'm married to, behind his back, that's not right. So I thought to myself, okay, I need to leave this relationship because I knew in my heart I wasn't happy. I knew in my heart that I can't stay faithful to this person because I know there is someone that can treat me way better. And that's what I deserve. So I told my parents that I'm talking to someone. And like any Asian Muslim parents would do, they lashed out on me so badly. Called me so many things. Like, they said I'm wrong. They said that I'm not doing the right thing. I'm not a good Muslim. Everything that he would usually say to me. So I went with him to the mosque and I explained the Imam our situation. And he said, go back and try again. So I came home crying and I said to myself, I'm tired of trying. I've been trying for so many years and nothing has ever changed. So it was that day when I decided to put my foot down and I started looking for properties to move out with my son. We used to go out in the rain, the thunder, going to places all across Manchester looking for a house. And at this point, my mum had completely cut off with me. Like, we would talk here and there. I told her what I was gonna do, but it was just, she wasn't happy. She wasn't happy about what I was doing. Obviously, I wouldn't be. Because of what she had gone through, she didn't want me to go through a similar situation. So I found a house far away from where I was living, and it was a 2-bedroom house, very old, not well like decorated or anything. It was, to me, it was just a house. So I went for it, and one day, with the help of a family friend, I moved out with my son. Now this man comes home and sees me moving out, and he breaks down. He breaks down. He cries and cries and cries. And me being the softie I am, you know, feeding off of everyone's hurt, I fed off his hurt feelings, and I said to him, I said, it's okay, you know, I've not left you yet. We're just taking a break. We can still talk and try to make things work. I don't know why I did that. I shouldn't have done that because that was leading him on. So I moved out and I became very independent. I got my divorce, which was very difficult because nobody was agreeing to what I had to say, because the man has the right. The woman has the right as well, but she needs to have very stern reasons. And to them, I didn't have a stern reason, because to people, physical abuse, when you have scars and bruises to prove what you've been through, is more believable than mental and emotional abuse. What this guy was doing to me, putting me down every single day, making me hate myself so much, making me dislike myself so much, it didn't come across to them as a big problem, because there's worse in the world. So I went to this mosque in Birmingham, which the council is a woman. A woman understands a woman way better. And I told them straight up, I said, look, I can't stay faithful to this man, and I don't want to have any intimate relationship with him because I don't feel right, because I don't love him anymore. I've tried and I've tried and I've tried, and it's just not working anymore. They understood. It was a long trial for months and months and months, but I finally got my divorce and I was very happy about that. Then what happened was, the person that I started talking to from America, he flew to see me, because before me putting my foot down and saying, look, I want to get married to this person, I had to meet him. I couldn't just say over the phone, I need to get married to this person, without meeting him. That just doesn't make sense. So I met him, and we connected. He connected with my son as well. Obviously, I had to see how he was with my son. That was a big, big thing for me, a massive thing for me. If a person can't connect with my son, I can't marry this person. So we met, and obviously he had to go back after we met and stuff. I told my parents. They were very angry, obviously. And then he flew out here again, but this time he met my parents. He met my parents. They lived with him. He lived with them for 2 weeks without me. They saw how he is. They really liked him. mainly because of his connection with the religion and stuff. And he learned how to pray within 2 weeks. He learned all the surahs. He learned exactly how to pray, and that really made them happy. Like, okay, this guy's genuine. So we got married. After that, we got married. I had another baby. That was a very difficult part for me because I was by myself my whole pregnancy. The first 2 months he was here, but then he had to go back because of visa. And then I was alone, and I was working, and I had no car. So I used to walk and walk and walk, literally 2 hours a day, to school to drop my son, then to work, then back to school to pick him up, then back home. It was crazy. But I went through it, alhamdulillah, with Allah's help. And then he got his visa, he came here. We had a baby, alhamdulillah, we had a baby girl. And we got a place together, 2-bedroom house again, but this time an upgrade, a little bit of an upgrade. And right now, this is us. So I'm just happy that I met him. And as much as people will say, oh, you were wrong, you were so wrong for talking to him while she was still married and all this kind of stuff, I left that relationship because I knew I couldn't stay faithful to that person. And I knew that this person that I love now, I will stay faithful to him to the core. And I am. And everyone used to say, well, not everyone, my ex-husband always used to say, oh, you know, you can never stay faithful to someone because you're always jumping relationships and all this kind of stuff, and you're never satisfied. Nobody can ever make you happy because you want too much. I'm a hopeless romantic person, so for me, what he was doing to me was killing me inside. He wasn't giving me the love that I wanted and deserved, and for no reason. I literally used to sit at his feet and cry and beg him, please love me properly, please love me the way I want to be loved. And he used to just say, oh, just take it as if I'm mentally ill and I just can't do it because it's just not the way that I've been brought up. And I used to just be like, why can this not just be as easy as me loving him? Because I used to give him so much attention and appreciation and do so much for him. But with him, it was just one-sided. So this is me now with 2 children in a love marriage that everyone was against. Everyone was against this marriage because they thought it would never work out. They thought he was not genuine. He would leave me. He would be bad to my child. He would be bad to me. You know, oh, he's not a Muslim, so he's gonna go back to his ways and da-da-da-da-da. He prays more than me. He does way more than me. And I just want to say this to all the women and men out there, that mental and emotional abuse is so much worse than physical abuse because you just can't explain it to some people. Some people just won't get it. Some people will just throw it back in your face and just tell you you're wrong. But if you know that you're not happy in a situation in your life, you have the right to leave. You have the right to put your foot down and say, this is not what I deserve better, and I'm gonna go find it. And you will get it, because nobody has the right to make you sit down and force you into a relationship. Never, ever, ever. If you want to leave, you leave. Yes, Allah hates divorce, but he's given it for a reason, that if it doesn't work out, you need to go. You can't just sit inside a marriage where you're not happy, where you're getting abused in any sort of way, mental, emotional, physical, sexual, neglect, anything. If you are hurting yourself, you're sinning, because Allah has told us not to harm ourselves. So if we know that we're harming ourselves on purpose, if you have tried and tried and tried and tried and not gotten anything out of it, then you are just harming yourself and you are sinning for not leaving. So that's the moral of the story, guys. I'm sorry that I got emotional, just contemplating on my past and everything. There is so much more that I would share with you, but I'm trying to cut this video as short as I can and not drag it to be so long. So if you have any questions at all, please ask me. And if you want to know anything more, I will be happy to share every single bit of my life to help people out there. If I know that I'm making a difference in even one person's life in this world, I will happily share every single letter of my book.